Alright boys, what's happening? Welcome back to another video on the channel. I feel like I've not said that for a while. The last episode was only up on Friday though. If you haven't checked it out, go and check it out before you watch this one. It was the Monaco Grand Prix. Today we have the Azerbaijan Grand Prix at the Baku Street Circuit. It's one of my favourite tracks on the calendar. I don't know why, I just really like Baku. I'm very fast, especially through the first sector in this circuit. But you can see, boys, we are saving our resource points for this upgrade on the screen right now. The major upgrade in the chassis department for the brakes. And that upgrade there we'll talk more about in one of the later races coming this week. I think it's the France Grand Prix that we speak about that upgrade a bit more. Yeah, it's just a very important upgrade, so we're going to save our points there. You see, we can get a few engine upgrades and stuff, but we're going to save our points to try and get that brake upgrade because we really do need it, boys. We really do need that brake upgrade. Like I said, we'll talk about that more later on in the week in the France episode. I can't even remember if it is the France or the Canada episode, but it'll be one of them coming this week. Obviously, our upload schedule is Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If you didn't clock that by now you know. You can see the vehicle comparison chart on the screen. We're actually P4 in the vehicle comparison chart, ahead of McLaren, just behind Mercedes, Ferrari and Red Bull. So, obviously, you know, we're in for a good race, hopefully, being P4 in the driver's standings. We also pick up an upgrade there in the personnel department because, you know, Nico Rosberg, boys, I do want to just boost him as much as possible. I want Nico to be our star teammate, compete for championships with us for the team. So hopefully Nico can have a good race today, and hopefully we can have a good race today in Baku here. I just love this circuit, boys, I can't lie to you. Obviously last season our car was quite stinky right at the start of the year, with Baku being the fourth race in the calendar, I do believe, isn't it? It's the fourth one, I think. So yeah, hopefully we can set a good lap here in quali and get ourselves in a good place on the grid. And maybe, boys, we did make the right choice going with that Ferrari power unit. Remember at the start of the season I said I didn't really like it, the car felt a bit weird. But you see Ferrari are currently P2 in the vehicle comparison chart, just behind Red Bull. So maybe we made the right choice going with that Ferrari unit, because of course it's looking like it's better than even the Mercedes unit, with Aston Martin being way down. We've overtook McLaren, and the Mercedes are just below Ferrari as well. So anyway, here's our qualifying lap. You see we go green in sector 1, our first lap, with 2 seconds up, 2.3 seconds up on our first lap. So our first lap must have been an absolute stinker. We have a little bit of contact with the wall there, no damage I don't think, through the castle section. Make sure to keep it out of the wall, unlike Charles Leclerc. And yeah, we are now 3 seconds up nearly on our last lap. We're currently P8, which I think is just because nobody else is, or not everyone has set a lap yet. I believe we'd be dead last with that 1:43 as our best time, so hopefully we can just keep improving on this. What you see, it's down to 3 seconds now, the delta, 3 seconds faster than the last lap. Coming around one of the last corners, heading towards the straight section now. We've got this little windy section that you can take flat out. Very easy to lose the rear end now. Be very smooth with your steering input through that section, and you can take it flat out. If you don't take a flat out there, you can lose a lot of time compared to the cars who do take it flat out. Of course, the AI take it flat out every single lap because it's the computer. We cross the line there anyway with a 1:39.6. It puts us P8, just behind Lance Stroll and just ahead of Giovinazzi, which isn't good, you know, to be just ahead of Giovinazzi and behind Lance Stroll and behind Fernando Alonso, especially when we theoretically have the the fourth best car on the grid. You see we're now in P14, crossing the line here to try and set another lap, but we've done our outlap and this is our flying lap now, boys. And if you saw in the bottom left there, all the cars are just coming out of the pits now to do their other flying laps. Because of course all the AI, they go out, so their last lap is right on the deadline of the qualifying session. So what we probably should have done is done another outlap, but then I didn't want to waste the tyres, you know, by doing 2 outlaps and then the flying lap. But you can see, boys, we're going to hit traffic in just a moment. The car in front of us is Nico Rosberg, our teammate. We're currently 2 tenths up on the last lap, so so we are on for a fast lap here. Hopefully improve on the last lap, you know, and we're now nearly 5 tenths up, with 4.5 tenths up, and Nico Rosberg, boys, he's gonna get in our way in this contact with Nico in qualifying. We've damaged our front wing. That's gonna be our qualifying session over. P14. Nico Rosberg, boys, I was expecting him to get out the way, to pull to the left there, but boys, you know, why didn't the team get on the radio and say, Nico, you've got obviously Sasuke coming up behind, you need to move out the way? The team just hadn't. Oh, boys, we've made contact with Nico Rosberg. Baku just seems to be a place where we're a magnet to our teammates. If you remember last season, we had a crash with Dan Tickton in the race. Nico going P11 there in Q1, and we just about make it through, boys. P15, we're going to make it through to Q2, even after that crash with Nico there. Luckily, they don't give us a penalty or anything like that, because I know you can get penalties for crashing into people in qualifying. So luckily we don't get a penalty for that. I think they just viewed it as like a minor incident, I guess. Anyway, we've set one lap already. We're in P11. This is going to be our last lap of Q2. Can we make it through to the top 10 to make it through to Q3? We've got Nico Rosberg in P10, just ahead of us there on the leaderboards. Can we improve on our lap? We're currently down on the Delta, but like I mentioned before, boys, I am quite fast through Sector 1 in Baku. So every lap I feel like I can make up time in this sector. But maybe not this lap. We're currently 1/10 down, but now we're into the Delta, into the green, on the Delta, and we go purple in Sector 1. This is what I'm saying. I am very fast through Sector 1 in Baku, and now we're 3/10 up on the last lap. It's looking like an absolute flyer from us to improve on that 139 flat that we did set as our banker. Can we get through into that top 10, boys? I'm not too sure what time we need to be hitting, how much faster we need to go to get into the top 10 and secure that top 10 place. Lose a bit of time through the castle section there, lose a whole 10 through the castle section actually. Very difficult, that castle section, you know, so I was expecting to lose time through there really. Hopefully we can make up that time in Sector 3. We've lost a lot of time there on that corner again, nearly 3/100ths of a second through that corner. And now our whole Delta is pretty much gone. Can we make it back on the straight though as we head through the little windy S section? And there's going to be a bit of contact on the wall there, a bit of damage to the front wing. Luckily we don't need any downforce for any corners coming up. It's just a flat out straight, and the Delta's still going up in the green. Can we get to the 1/10 mark before we cross the line? We can. It's 1/10 faster. It's going to be P10 on our last lap of the race. Now everybody else is gonna set at another time, so we might not be secured, we might not be through to Q3 there, and we get P10, boys. We knock out our teammate Nico Rosberg by 400ths of a second in Q2. Absolute drama there from the team, especially after that crash with Nico in Q1, but we managed to knock out our teammate and get through to Q3. Max Verstappen qualifying on the medium tyres there. Verstappen getting into the top 10 on the mediums. Absolutely massive from Max to get through on the mediums there. So he's going to start the race on the mediums, probably go for the one-stop strategy. Medium hard. I don't even know. Can you do a medium hard around Baku? I don't even know, to be honest. But obviously we've qualified on the softs. So that set of tyres is what we're going to start the race on. If you don't know, which you probably should by now. But if you don't, whatever time or whatever set of tyres, that you set your fastest lap on in Q2, if you qualify for Q3, you have to start the race on that set of tyres. Now, we did a lot of laps on those tyres, boys, so because I was just trying to secure that Q3, because there's no point trying to save tyres if you don't even make it to Q3. So we secured the Q3, but the tyres that we're going to start the race on are going to be absolutely battered. But this is our Q3 lap now. Purple again in Sector 1. Like I said, a bit of oversteer through the castle section there. A little bit of a slide, but it's actually helped us a little. We don't lose too much time. In fact, yes, we do. We lose 1.5 tenths nearly on the exit there of the castle section. But that purple in Sector 1 is going to help us a lot. We're nearly a whole second up on our previous lap. Coming down the hill now, we've made up that 1.5 tenths nearly, back to 1 second faster than our last lap. Where are we going to put the car on the grid, boys? Can we get a pole position? I don't know. We've never got a pole position before. It's purple in Sector 1. It's 8 tenths faster. We make contact with the wall again, just like the last lap. And we're going to lose a lot of time in the Delta there because of that collision with the wall. We go from 8 tenths to 6.7 tenths. But it's going up as we hit the DRS zone. Up into 7 tenths and across the line. It's going to be P4 at the moment. 138.47 as our best time. And it's going to put us P6 on the grid. Carlos Sainz taking pole position in Baku by a significant amount, 1.5 tenths there on Max Verstappen. I don't know where Sainz got that pace from, but obviously the guy we were going to get as our teammate, but didn't. gets pole position in Baku, and Nico Rosberg is out in Q2.
Welcome to you from
Let's get to the race.
Square, heart of Baku and home, of course, to the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. With high speeds, tight corners and few runoff zones, many are expecting a safety car here today, so our drivers will have to stay very much on their toes and hopefully away from the barriers. Baku City Circuit then, an unpredictable 3.7-mile track around the streets of the Azerbaijan capital. 20 turns for our drivers to navigate today, including the infamous Turn 8, one of the tightest and most challenging corners of the season. I'm joined again today by none other than Anthony Davidson. Tell me, Ant, obviously there's a lot of development work that goes on with these cars between the races. You've been both a test driver and a race driver. What differences are there in the way you approach those roles?
Interesting question, Crofty. They're two very different mindsets. I mean, when I tested for BAR, we had full in-season testing where, per driver, you'd cover up to 15,000 kilometers per season. And in that role, it was more about working for the team, trying to help them improve the car and drive as systematically as you could, so that that data could be analysed in the most consistent way. When you're lining up on the grid for a race, however, your frame of mind's all about what you can get out of the situation on that day, and the car's the tool to help you achieve what you want. You still want to focus on setup, of course, but it's more about the here and now, getting yourself as far up the field as possible, and less about development work for the future.
Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. An immense lap from Carlos Sainz yesterday puts him in pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Bottas, Leclerc, Sergio Perez, the owner driver, Hamilton, Ricciardo, Norris and Pierre Gasly, Rosberg, Tsunoda, Sebastian Vettel and Fernando Alonso, Stroll, Ocon, Antonio Giovinazzi and Mick Schumacher, Russell, Latifi, Tigtum and Nikita Mazepin. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Alright boys, so you see the grid there, no real big changes, you know, as we get towards the end of the season. That's where the grid starts getting a bit scatty with people taking grid penalties and stuff with the engine. But as you can see now, as we set up our, strategy, the soft tyres are only going to do 4 laps, because like I said, we did absolutely batter them in qualifying. So we're looking at an early pit stop in this race in Baku, but it is 5 red lights, and it is lights out, and away we go. Max Verstappen off the line very quickly there. Carlos Sainz had a stinker. Lewis Hamilton, I think that is, off the line as well, very quick there. Through turn 1 for Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. They've raced ahead into the lead here in the race. Carlos Sainz lost 2 places off the grid already. We're still in P6. Oh, it's Valtteri Bottas, sorry, not Lewis. Lewis is actually behind us, and for some reason the green flag is flashing. I don't know why that is. I didn't see anyone spin or anything like that, so I don't know why there would have been a yellow. But Carlos Sainz lost 2 places off the start there. Now we have Sergio Perez and Charles Leclerc in front of us. We're going to send it up the inside on Charles Leclerc. We managed to get it slowed down nicely as we take Leclerc on the inside up into P5. And now let's race ahead as Sergio Perez tries to send one down the inside on Carlos Sainz. They race wheel to wheel through the chicane there, and Perez comes out on top. Carlos Sainz lost 3 places from the start now, and we're not even at the end of the first sector. And we're going to send it down the inside on Carlos Sainz. He's lost another place off the start, boys. Carlos Sainz got pole position here in Baku, but he has lost 4 places already from the start of the race. Absolute stinker from Carlos there, the man who, like I mentioned every time, was going to be our teammate but wasn't. We went with Nico instead. Valtteri Bottas leading the race now. Max Verstappen on those medium tyres in P2. Verstappen off to a great start off the line, getting a massive jump on Carlos, even on those medium tyres. Obviously everyone else on the soft tyres has a start advantage, or an advantage at the start, compared to medium runners. So it's absolutely massive from Max to get that much of an advantage off the start, as we hold it in 7th through the S section there. Now Baku, very easy to overtake down this straight here because it is so long, and once DRS gets activated, it's so easy. We try and break the toe a little with Carlos there. We've both got the same power unit. Ours is a bit better though. Obviously ours is more upgraded than the Ferrari power unit. But our teammate has gone into the pits. Nico is pit at the end of lap 1. Which is very confusing. I don't know why he would pit at the end of lap 1. Let's see a replay off the start. This is Nico between the 2 McLarens there, up into P8. from the start. A bit of a contact, a bit of bump there with Lewis Hamilton by the looks of it. Like that, maybe that was the yellow flag. It looked like there was a bit of contact between Lewis and Nico, but looking at Nico's car on this replay, there's no damage to the front wing, boys, but he comes into the pit and takes a new front wing, but visually there was nothing wrong with his old front wing, so clearly there must have been something wrong for the game to go ahead and change it. But bit of a weird one for me. Anyway, lap 4 now. We were supposed to box this lap for those new softs, but we stay out for one more lap. Carlos gets us down the straight with DRS. Like I mentioned, it's so easy to overtake on that straight with DRS, and the slipstream is just such a long straight. Easiest overtaking opportunity on probably the calendar, nearly, I'd say, or at least one of them definitely. Now Carlos is in front of us, Charles behind us. The top 3 are looking like they're racing ahead. We can still see them, but you know, the top 2 at least are getting very, very far ahead now. Once they start having a little DRS train with each other, we need to try and clear Carlos quickly, which we have done there, and chase down Sergio, try and get into Sergio's DRS, but we do box here at the end of lap 5, start of lap 6. Let's see, can we have a good pit stop? It's going to be 2.2 seconds. It's a solid pit stop. Sergio Perez obviously came into the pit in front of us as well. So we're going to try and get Perez there as we come out of the pit. Absolutely massive. I think it's Nikita Mazepin came out in front of Perez there. Yes, you can see now Mazepin is in front of us. Held Perez up for a little. So shout out Mazepin for that one. And he moves out the way there. I think he's trying to defend, but it looks like he just moves out the way for us. So we go ahead and get past Mazepin. Now we can chase down Perez, who's 2 seconds ahead of us, but he was a lot further ahead, I do think, before we pit. But Mazepin obviously held him up for a little, but then Mazepin held us up as well for a little, so it's one of them, innit? We go purple through sector 1 on lap 7, and now Daniel Ticktum is in front of us, boys. And if you've seen season 1, this looks like a very familiar sight. Dan Ticktum in front of us as we head towards the castle section. What's going to happen? Will we see a repeat of last year? Will we send it down the inside? No, we don't. If you don't remember, season 1, we sent it down the inside of Dan Ticktum into the castle and pushed him into the wall while he was our teammate. But anyway, down the back straight now, like I mentioned, we don't even have to use battery here. Just slipstream, DRS, and we go ahead and pass Dan Ticktum. We pass a few people who are in the pits as well. Charles Leclerc just behind us, trying to send one up the inside. He has a little look, but he doesn't decide to go for it. We're in P5 currently. Perez, Bottas, Verstappen, and I don't even know who else in front of us. I think it looks like one of the Alpines going off the grid at the bottom. But obviously Verstappen started on those medium tyres, so he hasn't pit yet. And that's why, if you look at the map, he's nearly at the end of sector 1, while we are just starting our lap. And we set the fastest lap of the race, boys, on these fresh medium tyres at 141.5. So clearly we've got some pace, and we've managed to close the gap between us, Perez and Bottas. It was actually Fernando Alonso who was ahead of us, but he's now pit. And we set another fastest lap, and look at the gap between us and Bottas and Perez now. We've closed it so much. We're in DRS zone or DRS range of Perez, but there is going to be a yellow flag behind us, and it's going to be Nico Rosberg, boys. Nico Rosberg's engine is gone. So Nico, the guy who scored points in every race for us this season, been a great pickup as a teammate. He's going to DNF here in Baku. He had to box on lap 1 for a new front wing, so his race was pretty much done anyway. So the chances of him getting into the points from that incident was very slim, but the FIA can confirm now Nico Rosberg out of the session. Will it bring out a safety car? No, it does not. I'll just tell you now, so you're not left in suspense. But you can see now, boys, we're still behind Perez and Bottas. Max Verstappen is so far ahead now. It looks like Max is just going to win this race just off the strategy. Qualifying on his medium tyres was absolutely massive for Max. We managed to pass Perez there on the first DRS zone of the lap, and it's going to be contact, us and Perez there. You see my driver throw his hand up like me go-kart, and Perez throws his hand up, or we throw our hand up at Perez there, and it looks like he goes into the back of us. Probably picked up some damage there from just the look of the incident. Our car had a little wobble. So Perez has definitely got damage on the front wing by the looks of it. And now we are chasing down Valtteri. We are within range of Valtteri. Max Verstappen is now boxed on lap 11 now. I'm not too sure what strategy Max is actually running. Whether it is a one stop, but to go 15 laps on hard tyres, will he be able to do it? We'll find out. It is going to be a one-stop hard tyre for Max Verstappen, and Max comes out of the pits before we even make it to him. We're going to send up the inside on Valtteri into turn 1, and we do manage to make the pass there. Might have been a slight brush of the tyres. Here's a replay of that send there from way downtown, slight brush of the tyres, but from way downtown we send it on Valtteri into turn 1, and we manage to make the pass there. But we have come out in front of Max Verstappen. Max Verstappen just behind us now in P2, and we currently lead the race, boys, here in Baku. Of course, we do have another pit stop. Max doesn't, so we are like a net P3 at the minute, I do believe. Here's Max though down the home straight on those fresh hards, showing some serious pace down to turn 1. Max goes up the inside now, and I think we do let Max pass into turn 1 because I wanted to get DRS for the second zone. But look how good our exit was through turn 1, heading towards turn 2. And now lap 17 we do box. Max Verstappen did get past us, and we do box now for our second set of mediums. We did well holding Max behind us for all of those laps there. So he didn't just race ahead into the clean air, you know. So hopefully we can try and catch him. But as we come out to the pits now, Max is nearly a whole pit stop ahead. Max is going to be 16.7 seconds ahead. So we're going to have to do an absolute worldie of a race if we want to catch Verstappen. But boys, after that second pit stop, we're currently P2, just ahead of Sergio Perez, who's going to try and send one up the inside on us there. I try and give Perez space around the inside. You see how wide we take the exit there. But Perez, it looks like he might have spun there on the inside. I tried to give him as much space as possible. You can see he just makes contact with the wall, which sends him into us. He clips the apex there like too much, and in Baku obviously most of the apex are on walls. So here's another replay there. I did give him enough space. He could have easily got his car through. That was just a driver error from Sergio there. Crashed into the wall. So Sergio's lost a few places now. And now Valtteri is in P2. But boys, like I was mentioning, this is looking like a podium, boys. Perez has got damage. He's 2 seconds behind now, behind Valtteri. And obviously Valtteri is behind us by 1 second. So we're probably just going to have a little DRS train till the end of the race. But boys, Max Verstappen is out of the session. The guy who was 16 seconds ahead, guaranteed win pretty much in the bag for Max Verstappen. The guy who was P1, he's going to retire from the race. Bit of an awkward place to pull over. It might be a safety car, we'll have to see. But the guy in P1 is going to retire from the race. And you know where that puts us, boys? P1 with fastest lap of the race. But Bottas is behind us now, and he is coming for us, boys. We try and break the toe a little, do a bit of weaving on the straight there. Which side is Bottas going to pick to go? We try and force him up the inside. As you saw with Verstappen before, we got so much better traction on the outside of turn 1. So we're going to do it again. We're going on the outside, and just look at our exit compared to Valtteri's there. We know now on that straight, which is pretty much the only overtaking place, if we can just hold Valtteri to the inside and we go on the outside, we'll have a lot better traction and a lot better track position. As we set another fastest lap of the race, a 1:41 flat in the race. Absolutely crazy race pace from us. Lap 19 now. Valtteri is going to send one again. 2 tenths behind. We push him, show him the inside. Like I mentioned, as long as we can keep side by side with him through this corner and he doesn't come in front of us, we get so much of a better exit on the outside of the corner there. And we are absolutely flying. And boys, it is the last lap of the race, lap 26, as we head through to section 3 of the race, of the circuit, section 3 of the lap. Bottas 4 tenths behind. He's going to be very quick through the section. We keep it out of the wall, a little lift so we don't go into the wall. But Bottas 3 tenths behind, heading down the home straight. He's going to have a massive slipstream and DRS before we hit the finish line. Can we hold this P1 position? Bottas has took our fastest lap of the race from us as well a few laps ago, and across the line it's going to be P1, boys. Our first win of the season, our first win as a team on this game. It's our first race win here in Baku. What a place to do it. Driver of the day, Lance Stroll, but we don't care about that. We've just won a race for the first time. Absolutely amazing from us, boys. Our best result before this was, of course, P2. We got P2 in back-to-back races last season in Mexico and Brazil, was it? We got P2 in. We obviously got a P3 in Canada last year as well. But look at this, boys. It's going to be P1 our first time on top of the podium, and hopefully it's not our last. Massive points for the team there, especially with Nico being out. Unfortunately, Valtteri took our fastest lap from us. He had a massive slipstream and DRS, but look at that, boys. Jarno Opmeer, you're going to see his face on the top step of the podium. The two Mercs in P2 and P3 there, as Jarno lifts the trophy. And what a win that is for the team. I don't even know who that guy is holding the Constructors' Trophy. I've never seen him in the garage before in my life. He must just be a fan from the crowd, and somehow he's made his way up onto the podium and picked up the trophy for us, because I've never seen that guy in my life. Terrible haircut, by the way. But what a win that is, boys. What a race for the team. Like I mentioned, Nico Rosberg retiring from the race, so it's absolutely massive from us to pick up 25 points there, a huge point haul, basically picking up points for the both of us, because obviously Nico scoring 0 in this race. Carlos Sainz down in P13 from P1 on the grid. Obviously, like I said, he had a stinky start, but he's had a stinky race. I don't know how that's happened. I don't know if he picked up damage and had a front wing change in the pits, but to go from P1 to P13, you know, maybe it's a good job we didn't pick up Carlos as our teammate. Dan Tickton finishing dead last, absolute loser. Max Verstappen and obviously Nico Rosberg retiring from the race. So much luck, so lucky to get that Max Verstappen retirement. We would have been on the podium anyway, but anyway, here is the driver's standings. We're in P3 in the drivers, just behind Charles Leclerc and Pierre Gasly in P2. The team is also P3 in the constructors, just behind McLaren and Ferrari. McLaren finishing 6th and 8th there, I do believe, in that race. But boys, what a win that was. And the next race on the calendar is Canada, I want to say, which is a track that I'm very good at. Obviously, like I mentioned, we got P3 last year in Canada, our first podium as a team. Just checking out Nico there. His focus has gone down a lot. He's on 73 focus. Obviously, retiring from the race has knocked his confidence a little. But he's still got them +5 attributes. He's 94 rated overall. Nico Rosberg, we do have also that upgrade that we did buy for the experience stat, I do believe, which will give him a +5 experience. But boys, yeah, you can see there, we do go ahead and pick up the brake upgrade. Finally, we have enough points to pick up that brake upgrade. Hopefully that upgrade for Nico that comes through will improve him for the next race. You know, it's hard to bounce back from a DNF, but Canada, I'm hoping for another podium in Canada. Like I mentioned last year, I think we're going to go to the standings in a moment, or maybe not. But Nico gets a +2 pace boost for this race from the activities. He's now 95 overall. Can he bounce back in Canada? Can we both get on the podium? We haven't got on a podium together yet, so hopefully we can see us and Nico side by side in that P1 and P2 spot on the podium. Here's the season results. Last season we got P3 in Canada. Can we go ahead and improve on that, or can we go ahead and just get P3 again? Like I mentioned, Nico, he's got points in every race so far, 4th, 6th, 8th, and then a DNF. So hopefully he can improve. But obviously you're going to improve as long as he finishes the race, because you can't get worse than a DNF. But he went from 4th, 6th to 8th, so his momentum slowed down a little, but then so did ours. If you look at our stats, going from 5, 11, 18, and then obviously the P1 in Baku. But boys, that is going to be it for this video. If you did enjoy, and if you're excited that we got our first win, hit like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I will catch you in the next one. Take it easy.